Michael, how's the mood amongst the group? It's obviously been a pretty hectic and busy couple of days. How are the boys going?
Yeah, look, we've trained really well over the last 2 days. I think obviously the guys that are unavailable for selection are still disappointed. There's no doubt about that. But I think the way they've bounced back and been a big part of our last 2 training days has been exceptional. And they deserve a lot of credit for that. So, yeah, look, we're excited about what's going to be a tough test match, but a test that we have to win.
Some tough decisions have obviously been made, but the mood amongst the training and the morale seemed really high.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt that everybody's trained as well as we could. We got a bit of a flogging in 2 days ago. I think we trained for just over an hour of fitness and fielding. To get ourselves back into game mode. The boys trained really well yesterday in the nets. I still haven't got a team at this stage. We're waiting on Matthew Wade to see how he pulls up. We're going to give him every opportunity before we select our 11. But no, look, the guys are in a really good place. We know how important this test match is, and we know we've got to be ready come tomorrow morning.
Looking at the wicket and the conditions here in Mohali, what are you thinking? I presume that the decision making comes down to whether or not your bowling line up and what how that might shape around this test match.
Yeah, at this stage, well, no doubt the wicket's dry. As we've seen in the first 2 test matches, going to be very similar. I would have thought spin's going to play a big part again, but our main decision. We need to wait on Matthew Wade really to work out what our best 11 is. He dictates, well, firstly, your major position in your wicketkeeper if he'll be playing and keeping, or if Brad Haddon will be taking the gloves. So, look, in regards to the 11, I think we have to wait until the toss tomorrow and give Matthew every opportunity.
Have you decided where you're going to bat in this test match?
Not at this stage. Again, it'll be determined by what 11 plays.
And as far as with Shane Watson going home, it may not be, the vice captain going home. What happens if there's a requirement for someone to show some leadership on the field if you potentially have to go off? Yeah,
look, we haven't, I don't think the board's announced the vice captain at this stage. I'll be in contact with Cricket Australia throughout the day, but I think looking at what's happened through the Australian summer in Test cricket, one-day cricket, that we haven't appointed another vice captain. Shane Watson's still the vice captain for this tour, and at this stage he's gone home for the birth of his first child, and hopefully we get him back for the 4th test. So yeah, I'm sure I know there's a couple of guys, if I have to leave the field for any reason, that can take over and do a great job.
There's obviously been a lot of talk about the things that have happened as far as the off-field situation, but on-field, have you made any conscious plans to change the way that the team or people have prepared for this game and the tactics, or do you think it's just about really, being really positive and focused on, plans that we might not have executed as well as we want to date?
It's a little bit of both. I think as a team, we're certainly in a good frame of mind in regards to knowing where we sit. We know we have to win the next 2 test matches to level this series. So, we've got to play that positive brand of cricket, which I think that's generally when we play our best. I think individually players have looked at their games and found areas where they think they've had good success or pieces of success in the subcontinent, and areas where they know they've got to work extra hard to have success in these next 2 test matches. So I think individually the players are in a really good place. We've used the 2 games, the experience of the 2 games to help us in what lies ahead. But I think as a team, that hunger's certainly there. We know where we sit in the series. We know we have to win the next 2 test matches, and we look forward to this game starting tomorrow.
What are you expecting from India? They've sort of snuck into town, a couple of days out, trained yesterday, not really with much of a focus or a spotlight on them as normally might be. Are you expecting many changes from their team?
I think they'll play the same team, to be honest. Again, we haven't focused too much on them. We've been looking at our own games and areas where we can improve. But I'm pretty confident they'll play the same team. They've won the first 2 test matches. Conditions look pretty similar to what we've seen, so I'd be surprised if they make too many changes.